You are one of the first person to do robotic surgery in northern part of Kerala.
Yes.
You are one of the first person to. How does this robot? So you have a robo doing the job instead of you, or how does it? As a doctor, how do you compose yourself? Because you are dealing with lives, right? You're dealing with death.
I did about 750 renal transplants in my life.
Wow.
Being a cardiothoracic surgeon, I never dreamed about it.
If he shows me a diamond necklace and an EQE key, I might take the EQE key, not the diamond
Wow,
necklace.
I'm floored. Welcome to another edition of Bridgeway Talks. We try to bring in people who have been accomplished professionals in whatever they do. We have had a lot of people here. We had entrepreneurs, we had corporate people, we have had influencers. And I think, this time around we have somebody very special, somebody who is super accomplished, a profession which according to me is a very, very noble profession and, which saves life. I think it's very nice that we have him here today. We are super proud to have Dr. Anil Jose. Thank you so much for being here, sir. And we have met a couple of times, and I'm sure that today my viewers from Bridgeway would love to hear from you what you are all about. And I think ma'am also is here today. Thank you so much for ma'am for being here. And Dr. Anil is a cardiothoracic surgeon. I got it right, I guess. So I'm not a doctor. So for me, I need to be super careful, because I was telling him before the discussion that I think this profession to be a very noble profession. So it is not something which I would laugh about at any point, right? So saving lives, right? I think that is super noble, and I think that's what I think about it. And I'm sure everybody, you save a lot of lives, and I can really feel the amount of pressure what you would have in your hands, to save lives day in and day out. Thank you so much for coming here, and welcome to Bridgeway Talks. So just to start off with this thing, everybody has a dream, right? When they start as a childhood to become a doctor or an engineer or a thing. Was this a profession which you wanted to do when you were in school level and when you were planning your life ahead? Did you really want to become a doctor, or it happened later on during the course of your journey?
Thanks very much for inviting me for this talk, which is quite a new experience for me as well.
Oh, okay.
So, to answer that question, I don't know, maybe when in the school days, I think in now generation, probably a generation older than you are probably. So at that time, the people who were looked upon in the society were always doctors.
Okay.
So we had like this physician in my hometown, which is Todupuzha.
Okay.
Where we would be like, okay, this is the guy, this is a big man. Everybody's like, you go to a meeting, you go to a marriage, you go to a function. Everybody, once he comes, everything stops. It's just like he was like a showstopper, in the local community. So I think I kind of influenced by that. And then I had an uncle, my mother's brother, who was also a physician. Those times physicians were kings,
Okay.
So even he was like, anywhere he goes, everybody's like, oh, what's the uncle is coming? And it was like everything stops. So probably that's the
influential part of you becoming.
You wanted to become
How did you end up choosing this particular thing called as cardiothoracic? So before that, I need to know, what is cardiothoracic? What does the term mean? For a layman, I know cardio means the heart, so the heart is probably to the youngsters is in a very different way today with all the social media happening around. So I really want to know from a medical term, what is cardiothoracic? What is it all about?
Yeah, that's a good question, I think, too. Well, cardiothoracic surgery basically deals with anything surgical related to the chest, I would say. Like, that would be a heart, that would be the lungs, that would be a tumor of the chest wall, that would be a tumor inside the chest. So we deal with them, all of those.
Anything that to do with the chest.
Within the chest.
Within the chest is cardiothoracic. And I was reading somewhere before you coming over here, you do your surgery bloodless? How does it, you try to do surgeries?
I try to, because when we started our career, or maybe our training in cardiothoracic surgery, some of them used to start, the moment you start putting knife in, some of these people start blood flowing from the other side.
Okay.
It was always bloody, and then when I went abroad and saw how it is being done outside India,
Okay.
of course, then I realized we don't really need all that blood. We can do if you save when you start doing the case or start doing the operation. If you're like careful, then you probably don't need the blood. So I try not to transfuse most of my patients.
Okay.
At least 50% of my bypass surgeries, I tend not to give blood at all, because I think the way I do it is it's like economy in the car driving as well. So the moment you try to save from the beginning, the amount of blood loss is much less. Then in that way, one thing we all need to understand why this is important is because you're putting in somebody else's blood in your system.
Right.
This is not your blood. Yeah.
Right.
When we were like medical students, one of my bosses used to say, "Cow's milk is for cow's kid, not for human kid."
Okay.
This is so because he thinks that those proteins and
Right.
a lot of things. So it's the same way. That once we transfuse somebody else's blood into your system, your body the immune systems get activated. Then if you end up at some point in your life, you need to have a transplant, for a kidney transplant or a liver transplant. All these antibodies come up. You have problems with
very. I think something which I learned today, because I was always thinking that, surgery means there has to be blood. Surgery cannot be with, and I think one more thing which I read was you are one of the first person to do robotic surgery in northern part of Kerala.
Yes.
You are one of the first person to. How does this robot? So you have a robo doing the job instead of you, or how does it work?
Yeah, that's one common question everybody asks.
Yeah.
So the robot doesn't do anything by itself. That's one thing we have to understand.
Okay.
So what it does is, so if we are using a so-called, for example, laparoscopic surgery, everybody knows, keyhole surgery. So what we do is we use these long instruments, we look into the camera, and we operate. So whereas if you have a robot, the robot operates the mechanical side. Like the robot moves the arms, and the robotic arm goes inside small, so it's easy to manipulate.
Okay.
Whereas in a laparoscopic surgery, we have to do it physically. So it's a bit tiring at times.
Okay.
We are working using our shoulders all the time.
Okay.
And then you get tired. Whereas in the robotic surgery, you're sitting in a console. The robot is doing the mechanical bit, so you can have a coffee if you like in between. You can have to take a break if you want to. So
this is very interesting. I would have actually changed my profession if that was, because drinking coffee in between surgery is something which
thinking a little bit too much into it. I think what will happen eventually is that if I can maybe operate on someone in my Maitha hospital from Bridgeway, or someone in the US can operate in India.
Yeah. So basically, it's something very similar to how we right now do service of our car. So if there is something very specifically wrong with your car, we have somebody from Germany guiding us what to do, and it's on an iPad, and you have a screen, and you can do everything. So I think that is probably what.
Yeah, I think we are getting to the next level. Someone in the US can operate on somebody in Calicut. Would be possible in my children's time, I'm sure. It's not available now, but that is what we are heading to.
Yeah. So talking about your children, talking about ma'am, I think let us stop talking about surgery and doctors and things like that. I think give us a little bit about yourself. Where all did you study? Where all did you travel? Because, how was your entire family thing happening? How many kids do you have? Give us a little bit more about that.
Well, I did my basic medical schooling from Calicut itself, Calicut Medical College.
Okay.
And then did my master's in surgery from Kottayam.
Okay.
And did my MCH in cardiothoracic surgery from Trivandrum Medical College.
Okay.
So then I decided I need to get some foreign training for some years. So I went abroad, worked at King's College Hospital in London.
Okay.
We worked in the UK for 5 years.
So you worked in UK for 5 years.
Yeah, then we came to a point where we had to decide whether to stay back as a British citizen or you wanted to come back to your country. So we made the latter choice, clearly.
Okay. So you love your country?
Yes, I do, of course.
I'm just out of curiosity.
Just to put one more thing into perspective, I think one other thing which I keep saying is when we were doing our MCH or maybe post-MCH, then our CM at that time, Achyutanandan sir, he went abroad to get a thymectomy operation. So which was kind of upsetting to all of us that we are all here doing it every day, and why is he going to UK? So at UK or US, I can't remember. So anyway, so at that, later I realized he went for this keyhole surgery, which was not available at that time in our place.
Okay.
So I'm glad I could introduce that
Oh, that's very nice. That's, I think, I think the reason why I asked that question also is very simply, a lot of people actually today leave your country and go outside to practice, and very rarely you find people coming back to do things over here due to various reasons. It could be money, it could be, your profession and things like that. But I think this is brilliant. This is really beautiful that you're back in our country and doing.
I'm quite proud. I've been able to do at least 6 or 7 first-time surgeries.
Very nice.
In Malabar. So
I think
which I never dreamed.
Yes.
I would be doing if you asked me like 20 years ago. Same way. I'm glad I could help one of the hospitals to set up a renal transplant program.
Okay.
I did about 750 renal transplants in Malabar.
Wow.
Being a cardiothoracic surgeon, again, I never dreamed about it.
Brilliant. 750
came along. Yeah.
750
renal transplants.
Very interesting.
Not being a neurologist, I am a cardiothoracic surgeon still. So
very interesting. But is that like really possible that you specialize in something else and you do something else?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
The transplant involves some vascular connections, which they can't do as good as we can. So.
Oh, okay. Very nice. So how about your family, your kids, and I think
I got my lovely wife here. So I've got 2.
Yeah. So we met. I think we have had much more interaction multiple times. I think with the launch event when you had joined us for the launch event, and I think you also came for the delivery of the other car, and so I think we have had more interactions, and I think. Lovely family you have. I think I met your daughters also the other day when they came over here. Lovely family you have. Do you really think you will make your daughters doctors? Usually that is how the whole thing happens, right? So you are a doctor, you marry a doctor, your kids are doctors, the entire family is a doctor family. Does that happen with you also?
To begin with, he didn't marry a doctor.
So the reason why my question was tuned in such a way because I felt very bad. Why are you not a doctor? So I just
want a doctor.
Okay.
So having only one doctor in the family, I think kids decided not to become doctors.
Okay. So what do they do? What do they do now?
They're doing engineering.
Oh, engineering.
Computer science.
Very nice.
Everyone is doing at the moment.
Yeah. Everybody is into computer science.
I don't
and
know
engineering.
why, but anyway.
What are your passions? What are your hobbies? What do you guys travel a lot? Do you guys try to, take off from very busy schedules? Because I don't know whether, like me, I have a schedule, I get up in the morning, do this. You might not be having that because it depends on your patients and, the condition of the patients. I don't know. I'm really zilch in that. So I'm just wanting to understand, how do you take a break? Is it that you take a break, suddenly you get a call, oh, please come running, and you have to leave everything and go? Does that happen with you quite often? How do you plan your...
It used to be, I think, previously, but as we grow, as we mature, even our techniques change. So nowadays, such calls are very, very few.
Oh, okay. So you travel? You take a break?
We do drive a lot. I think.
Brilliant. Driving. So you have a nice car also.
She's probably more of an auto enthusiast than myself, I think.
No,
so we will come to her within some time because I have to force her to buy another car also for us. So now my thing is, how do you spend your weekends? So because I read you are into music, you listen to music, and how do you spend? Do you actually take off? Because the pressures are huge, right? So I think the pressures what I have in terms of managing the business here, the sale, this blah blah. It's a huge pressure. But as a doctor, how do you compose yourself? Because you are dealing with lives, right? You're dealing with death. You're dealing with curing people, medicines. There are billions of medicines. How do you remember all these medicines? And what do you prescribe somebody? How does that all happen? Is it you need to really be brainy to do it, or how is it?
Well, I think every profession is similar only, I think. So we have your own pressures, we have our own pressures.
Okay.
Certainly.
But then you get used to it.
You deal with the families, so that's stressful indeed. But I think if you think about it that way, then it becomes more stressful.
Okay.
So I think you have to take it as it's your job.
Okay.
That's what you're going to do. So it's part of the deal. So
it's part of the deal.
Yeah, any job I think is stressful, isn't it?
It is
Everybody has
stressful,
targets. I have targets. You have targets.
So,
such things do work, add to the stress. But when you come home, you try to leave the work behind.
Okay. So you're basically from Todupuzha, you said, right?
Yes.
I usually don't do this. How do you like your car? So just for my viewers over here, Doctor owns a EQE SUV, one of the first EQE SUV delivered in this part of Kerala. And I think he was a fan of competition. I wouldn't say the name. He was a fan of a competition, and it took us some time to convince him to come into the Star or the Mercedes family. So how do you like it shifting from, I think you have been driving the competition for a long time, and now you have shifted to Mercedes. How do you like it?
Well, I think I can put a name on it. So I've been a bit of a BMW fan for so many years.
Yeah.
I think in 2009, I always had a BMW.
Right.
So just like partly because maybe I'm getting aging also, I think. Now that I moved on to the Mercedes, maybe it didn't take very long for you to convince me, because the moment I saw the EQE, I was like, this is the car I'm going to buy.
Okay.
This. Actually, just like love at first sight, I just liked it.
Right, beautiful.
Beautiful.
I think the car also is a fantastic car. There are no two competitions for that anyway. So it's a EQE SUV is definitely a masterpiece of its own, and I think today we ourselves have a plethora of electric cars, and I think, ma'am, you also drive an electric car. Now with the family is both of electric family. Yeah. So you also drive an electric car, and it's nice that I drive an electric car, so it's nice that people are shifting to electric. But do you really feel that electric is the future, or do you think that ICE will continue to rule a bit more than the electric, from a layman's term?
Personally, I think electric is going to be, because once you drive the electric for like 2 months.
Okay.
Now, when I drive along the road, I see other cars with all this smoke coming out, just all this noise.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Pollution.
that sounds a bit old,
Yeah.
You're straight away starting to think
Right.
that is like an old technology. It's like seeing an old iPhone and a new iPhone.
Right.
Things have changed. So everything, the display, the technology, the ADAS, the noise isolation, everything in the Mercedes has been phenomenal. So compared to the ICE engines, so I think.
The future would be electric. The future would be electric.
Yeah, going back to ICE would be.
Yeah. So I think I have the same view. I have the same opinion. But I also have an opinion that the ICE would stay for some more time. It's not going to be an immediate transition into a complete electric future. But I think the ICE would stay for a little bit more time. And how do you like the EQE SUV, the car which I think for us is a very special car? How do you like that car? Because I know you drive an electric car. The reason why I asked you is, you drive an electric car. I know you drive an electric car, and you have bought another electric car. Electric is electric. So, do you really find a difference between the car what you drive and this one?
Yeah, actually, I was surprised to see the difference between one electric car from another.
Okay.
I've been driving an electric car for the past 2 years.
Oh.
And then when I thought EQE, what big difference? It's an electric car. But it does make a difference.
Nice.
It is amazing.
Very nice.
It is an amazing car.
Very, very nice. So when are you planning to buy the EQA?
Right.
So very straightforward question. So when do you shift your electric car to an EQA? The problem.
Let me take a test drive first.
Yeah,
and
definitely, yes. Now leaving the car part, how do you find that you have a very famous doctor in your family, and who's done so many surgeries, and how is he at home? Does he have the same amount of surgical thought process at home too? Does he do things with blood or without blood?
Oh, he's totally bloodless. He's totally bloodless. But when he starts a cardiac surgery, when you come back home, I used to see blood on his toenails.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it just pumps the blood. There's loads of blood, I think. But these days, I don't see blood on his clothes or toenails or anyway. He's clean. He comes home clean.
He comes home without blood. Blood on his hands.
Yeah. So, no blood on his hands.
So what do you do, ma'am, for your hobbies? You travel a lot? Just a few years back, maybe just a couple of years back, I had my children. Okay.
So it was a huge task bringing them back from the UK.
Okay.
And they didn't know both the languages.
They were born in UK?
Actually, they were not born in UK, but they did a primary school in the UK.
Okay.
So they were not at all familiar with either Hindi or Malayalam.
Okay.
So it took a while to get them used to the you know,
Okay, the Indian.
social.
So, but tell me, coming back from UK, coming to Kozhikode, coming to Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore is understandable. Coming to Kozhikode, don't you think that's like two poles? You know, it's like you're coming from UK to.
Kerala is where our roots
I do
are.
agree. I personally love Kozhikode and I personally love the place where we are in. But for your kids, you know, coming from a big city where life is happening, fast moving, coming to a super slow place like Kozhikode.
Then again, it's like what Anil said earlier. It's the way we see it. It's the way we see it that the kids see it.
Yeah, okay.
If I keep saying, "Oh, Calicut is such a slow city, we could have gone to a metro," then my kids will say the same thing again and again.
Right.
We never discuss Calicut or Kerala or any of the states or any of the countries for facts, slow or fast. We just say, "This is our."
So, how long have you been in India now?
10 years. 10
years. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's quite a long time.
10
Quite
years,
a long time.
yeah.
Okay.
We moved back to India when our kids were just about to go to the secondary school.
Okay.
Secondary school in the UK is a completely different picture.
Right.
Once they go off to secondary school, it's complete freedom.
Right.
They won't come back.
Right.
So we thought maybe now or never.
Right.
So we just moved in.
Oh, brilliant.
So, yeah,
So I heard you are the more of a petrol head at home than what he is.
No, I just like cars.
That's what a petrol head is. You know, liking cars is what a petrol head is. So
from a family which owned W123, they had W123.
yeah, so that's exactly my point. My question was there. So
when I got married, I was actually a Mercedes fan.
Oh.
He spotted it. I thought, no, I was never a Mercedes fan. But when I drove an EQE now I know it. I was always a Mercedes fan.
No, so which all cars did you have before?
Actually, my dad owned a W123.
Oh, brilliant.
And being a strong dad fan, like he was a superstar when he bought that Mercedes.
So he's where is he?
He's
no more. Oh, I'm so sorry.
We had the car in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was an amazing car. I still remember the bucket seat.
Oh, yeah.
It was so plush.
So now I know why he says you're a petrol head. You know, a lot of people doesn't have so much of passion when they talk about their cars, right? So
She knows each and every bit of that W123.
Oh, I still remember the locks with the cushion behind it.
Yeah.
And that windscreen.
Awesome.
It was great.
So we will actually invite you people to some of our nice events which do happen. So we have nice events which happen with our AMGs and things like that. We will invite you the next time around, you know, when we have these events. I think the next year we definitely are planning to have a few events.
Two W124s then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
And then my dad's brothers moved on to W124. We had two of them.
So where are your brothers now?
Well, he's in Cochin.
Gotcha. So they still own the car? They still have the 124s
no,
and 123s?
my dad's brothers had two W124s.
Okay. Super. Very nice. Yeah. So I think no wonder you're the petrol head of the family, because the passion which I see when you speak about cars, very rarely people, and I drive a car, so I drive a car. It's got a steering wheel and 4 wheels, so I'm okay with it.
No, actually, the first car he bought for me was a Mercedes.
Oh,
in
is
the
it?
UK.
You drive a competition and she drives a Mercedes.
It was such a nice garage, you know. There's a BMW 5 Series.
So the thought process is very simple. He loves you so much that he gives you the best.
Yeah,
you know. So I better drive whatever, but then you need to have the stars. So I think that's a good way to put it.
The thing is, if he shows me a diamond necklace and an EQE key, I might take the EQE key, not the diamond necklace.
Wow, I'm floored today. I think this is the best interview I've ever had. I think I never wanted to speak about cars. I never wanted to speak about Mercedes, but I think this is something which is really, really nice. And I'm flattered that you like the Mercedes. You know, I think it's really nice that...
Basically, when we were kids, I think our perception of a Mercedes, I'm sure everybody here, probably we are like, it's like a cozy, comfortable, silent, powerful, elegant. So I think AQE has kind of combined all those aspects.
Yes.
But because I never,
I do agree.
S-Class, I never thought Mercedes was like what we dreamed as a kid, but this one was kind of...
No, I do agree. This is a car which has got class. This is a car which has got that presence. You know, it's a head turner on the road. When you travel, it's a head turner. When you arrive, it says you arrived. So I think definitely, yes, the EQE is definitely a car of that sort. I think there are no two ways about it. And it is a true star of its own. I think, for us, I think we have delivered quite a few cars. Everybody is super happy with these cars. And I think the electric, nobody actually, as you rightly said, nobody actually thought that it would be a runaway success the way it is right now. So I think it's really good that you love the EQE, and we look forward to you buying more electric cars. We will definitely, my promise to you is we'll definitely call you for more events. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here, ma'am. It's a pleasure for us to have both of you here today. You are super busy. I know, you have a lot of work, a lot of patients to attend, and taking time away and coming to us today in Bridgeway. I think it means a lot to us. And I thank you on behalf of Bridgeway, on behalf of all of us here, for taking your time and coming and talk to you. I loved every bit of this session, what we had, and it's been a pleasure to have you. I think, let this relationship become much more stronger with more cars from our stable to you. I think it is super important that you're happy. So I'm glad that you're driving an electric car, and I'm super glad that we have you here today. And we had this small session, and I think we are at a stage where professionals like you talk about electric cars, electric engines is something which is automobile enthusiasts like me, it makes a big difference for me.
Just to add to that, I'm quite a bit of a petrol head, I can tell you.
That's exactly my point.
So someone like me converting to an electric is a sign of change of times, I think.
Brilliant. So I think, I really do think that the future is electric, and I really do believe that, as you rightly said, pollution, carbon neutral, green, all these are the future words for our children, for generations to come. I think it makes us, a lot of people don't think about it that way. For me, it is a thought, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, how things are, makes a huge difference. So once again, thank you so much for being here. It is a pleasure to have you. We wish you all the very best in life. We wish you more accolades. We wish you do, I cannot wish you to do more surgeries, but yeah, we wish you a lot of happiness, and with you, your family, and thank you once again for being here, sir.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.